Hey everyone. Today's video is about the kind of frog who doesn't just croak and catch flies. He demands a crown and a moat. Imagine this. You wake up belly deep in swamp sludge, a dragonfly doing donuts over your head. And instead of accepting that you're just another amphibian with a sticky tongue, you decide you're actually royalty. Bold move. Dangerous mindset. You probably won't survive this. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you really like what I do here. Let me know your location and local time in the comments. I'll turn off the lights, maybe turn on the fan for some soothing noise, and let's watch today's video. You're not even a particularly good-looking frog. Let's be honest. You've got one eye that doesn't track properly, your skin makes a sound when it dries out, and you once mistook a blob of algae for a soulmate. But none of that matters. 'Cause in your head, you've always been more than just Swamp Thing Jr. You're a prince. You're not the metaphorical kind. The crown-wearing, epic backstory, destined for glory type. The other creatures aren't exactly supportive. It's a mosquito Clarence, because of course he has a name once landed on your head and said, "You, Prince, bro." I've met pond scum with better self-awareness. You bit him mid-sentence. No regrets. Then there's the Turtle Council, who remind you daily that nobody likes delusional amphibians. And yet, every time the moon reflects off the water, you see not a frog but a hero in waiting. It started young. One night, lightning struck a tree, and you were convinced it was a sign. Another time, you found a broken plastic ring in the mud and wore it like a coronation band. Sure, it gave you a weird rash, but the symbolism was powerful. Even when you accidentally swallowed a firefly and glowed for 3 days, you called it royal energy. Instead of digestive distress, the swamp may laugh, birds may whisper. Time a heron tried to eat you just to end the delusion. But you survive, and every time you blink those bulging eyes, you whisper to yourself, "I am more than this." You've never seen a real castle, but that's fine. You've already built one in your head, and it's fabulous. You hop out of the swamp like a slimy little myth, determined to claim a throne that may or may not exist. The journey. Let's just say it starts off regal adjacent and quickly becomes a fever dream sponsored by chaos. You attempt to ride a turtle into the forest, but he only moves half an inch every 10 minutes and smells like old soup. Eventually, you dismount with what dignity a frog can muster, declare it a royal relocation delay, and keep going on foot. The first real obstacle? A raccoon cult? Not even joking? They're wearing acorns like helmets, chanting about the Great Bin. They mistake you for a prophet foretold by their sacred trash scrolls. You try to correct them, but honestly, free snacks and weird hugs, you stay a week. It's not what a prince would do, but monarchs gotta hydrate, right? Then there's the toaster. You find it in a ditch beside an abandoned campsite, half covered in pine needles and existential dread. For reasons unclear, it starts talking. Not like magically just some weird wire echo that makes it sound like it's whispering, "Kneel before Chrome." You obey. You're not above befriending small kitchen gods, if it gets you one step closer to royalty. The toaster tells you nothing helpful, except that all kings are toasted eventually. Cryptic, crispy, kind of deep. But the real turning point, a discarded history book you shelter under during a storm. One page opens to the French Revolution, and suddenly your little froggy brain short-circuits. Monarchs were decapitated publicly, and here you are declaring yourself king to every owl, bug, and plastic bag that drifts by. You sit in stunned silence as lightning cracks overhead, thinking maybe this whole prince thing comes with consequences. The next day, while drying off on a patch of moss, you meet a goose who claims she once acted in a community theater version of Swan Lake. She says you've got main character eyes and invites you to join her rebellion against a kid who keeps feeding ducks expired bread. You decline politely, citing personal growth and digestive trauma. But still, her words linger. By now your crown is rusting, your cape has disintegrated, but your spirit untouched. You may not know where you're headed, but the story is getting good. And isn't that what heroes do, stumble through strange chapters on the way to something golden? Here you are weeks later, no closer to a throne. Yes. Your only subjects being a beetle named Donut and a sock puppet with abandonment issues. But something's shifted. You've stopped declaring yourself prince every 5 minutes. Not because you've given up, but because you're listening now. It's like when you helped a snail who got stuck in a beer can and she told you that hope tastes like lettuce in the rain. You nod solemnly. You get it. One afternoon, you discover a playground. The kind humans abandon when they realize metal slides become torture devices in the summer. You crawl into the plastic castle and sit in the princess tower, watching the world from behind faded purple windows. A child walks past and screams, "Mom, a royal frog," and for a moment it all clicks. You're not for your slime, not for your ribbits, but for what you believed you were all along. Prince, a ruler. Maybe a slightly unhinged amphibian with emotional resilience. But that's not even the best part. The best part is what you start to do. You guide lost ants around puddles. You defend a cricket with a broken leg from a nosy squirrel. You even mediate a full-blown turf war between two lizard brothers arguing over a leaf. You're not just the star of your own delusion anymore. You're someone others look to. The swamp calls you Sir Bugcatcher. The raccoons send postcards. Even the toaster somehow shows up again via a rogue camping trip and hums approvingly when you walk past. And then there's the sock puppet. You meet her half buried in mud, eyes sewn on crooked, mouth permanently open like she just heard a conspiracy theory. You name her Princess Crunch. She's terrible at conversation, but she listens. You start carrying her everywhere. The two of you become legends. The frog and the threadbare queen. You tell stories to beetles, direct plays for mosquitoes. Once staged a musical reenactment of the time you accidentally swallowed a penny. It got rave reviews. You never found the castle. You never kissed a human or turned into anything shinier. But you found purpose. A life made not of crowns, but connections. Of being absurdly brave in a world that keeps telling you to shut up and croak. You believed in magic? That belief turned into something better than royalty. It turned into community. Now it's dusk, and the swamp glows like someone left the galaxy on simmer. You sit by the water's edge, Princess Crunch beside you, fireflies blinking like sleepy stars. There's no fanfare, no coronation, just a frog and a feeling that you didn't need to be a prince to matter. You close your eyes, legs tucked in, chest rising slow. Somewhere in the distance, a cricket plays a solo on a leaf. And for the first time, you're not waiting for magic. You are the magic. So rest now, tiny dreamer. The crown was never the goal. The believing always was. End of script. Thanks for following along.